All right. Good morning, everyone. Josh Kivenko here. Unusual, you're hearing from me on a Tuesday. Sometimes life gets in the way, y'all, and that's what happens. Um, Welcome to Robot versus Wild Preview. I'm joined by yet another trusty pal, Rebecca Lee. Rebecca, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Rebecca is our product manager, working on some new technology for us. Ooh, mysterious. Don't know what it's going to be. But I'm great to have Rebecca here. We've been spending a lot of time together over the last year working on some new tech. And Rebecca is actually a guest speaker along with Andy Johnston from GEODIS, our pal Andy. Yet another trusty pal, Andy. And he'll be joining on Friday for our webinar. And I've asked Rebecca to join us today just to give us a preview of what we're talking about. So the title for webinar 7 on Friday, is What's Wrong with Case Picking? What's wrong with case picking? So, Rebecca, what is wrong with case picking? Why don't we start with that one? What's wrong with case picking today?
First, thanks, Josh, for having me here. And so on Friday, we'll talk about case picking. This is kind of an area that we have been working on and trying to understand for a few years now. And traditionally, case picking is this very manual, labor-intensive process in warehouses and distribution centers. And it hasn't really changed, to be honest, like for over half a century. And when I say manual intensive, it's not just the picking, it's traveling, people driving a pallet jack. And driving a pallet jack is inherently a dangerous job, right? So you can imagine there are a lot of safety related issues. And because it's so dependent on labor, it's also challenging for business to adapt to the ebbs and flows. And it's kind of then dependent on turnovers and incidents and human errors, right? So it has, I think there are a lot of things that automation can step in and try to improve, but it just really hasn't happened yet.
Right. Right. Well, have you know, the good news is when I worked in my father's warehouse a long time ago, he did not let me do case picking. I wasn't allowed to drive the forklift or the pallet jack. So that's good news. So safety issue averted there. Nevertheless, not as everybody's as safety conscious. Of course, safety is an issue. You have lots of turnover in these environments, right? Studies suggest that the average warehouse turns over their employees every 2 years, right? So you have a training issue, an onboarding issue, right? And then you just have the changing face and changing dynamics of what warehouses need to do. They need to constantly produce better outcomes, higher throughput, and is case picking keeping up with the times, right? Is really a question. And why is it hard? Why is it a hard problem to solve? I mean, you're a problem solver, right? You're a roboticist, right? You work for a robotics company. You have a problem solving mind. As you've wrapped your head around this, why is this a hard problem to solve?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I kind of wondered about this all the time. And I think fundamentally, it's the fact that the current process only process one order at a time, right? Each person go grab an order sheet and a pallet jack, empty pallet. And so each person can only be attached to an order. And what that means is at a system level, it's really hard to optimize. The freedom of optimization is very limited. It's only do I do this order first or maybe that order later? But you don't have the freedom, we call it degrees of freedom, that we can actually use to optimize in this space. So I think there often lacks a system level thinking in today's warehouses when it comes to case picking. There has been marginal improvement, like improving pick time at location and maybe ordering of those pick lists. But at the system level, we haven't seen much kind of dramatic innovation in the space.
Right. And we see, so that's we haven't seen dramatic innovation. We'll talk about some of the innovation. So let's spend some time to talk a little bit about some of the innovation that it has happened so far on Friday, not today.
Yeah.
But I guess my last question is, or topic is, notwithstanding that there hasn't been a lot of innovation, there are also headwinds here. We've as we've spoken to folks in this market trying to peel this back and solve this problem, we realize that folks have some tendencies here. We call it sort of the ostrich effect. They may not want to solve this problem. I can't believe it, but some are maybe inclined not to want to solve this problem. What's going on there? What's this ostrich effect we're seeing?
Yeah, I guess I can't speak to everyone, but what we have seen is I think a lot of folks tend to think it is the way that it has been for the past like 60 or 70 years. And there's kind of people tend to think in a groove, like there's a reason that this is the way. And so it's hard to imagine doing it differently. I think that's one kind of just tradition gets in the way. And another thing potentially is folks might not be so incentivized to actually drive down the cost. A lot of kind of operations operate on this kind of cost plus model. So yeah, I think there could be a lot of reasons, and I'm really excited kind of to hear a little more from Andy Johnston from GEODIS on his perspective from the industry on why it hasn't really changed. So yeah, that's another kind of teaser for Friday.
Thanks for mentioning Andy. I mean, Andy and GEODIS have been a great partner of ours as we've gone through this development work, this joint development work with them. He'll talk about what they see, the pressures they see in their warehouses, how they are trying to improve case picking off. You know, they're certainly very, very well ahead of the curve. Talk about how they can see it being improved, and we'll give you some airtime as well, Rebecca, to talk about what you've been working on. So there you go. What's wrong with case picking coming this Friday, September 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. The next episode of Robot versus Wild. If you want to register, just jump in somewhere here. You're watching me on LinkedIn, so jump in over there to the right or to the left somewhere. You'll find a registration button, or follow our feed. You'll be able to register. Or just hop on our website, upper right in the navigation under resources, find our webinars, and you'll be able to find a way to register there. So with that, Rebecca, I look forward to seeing you on Friday morning. So long, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Look forward to seeing everyone on Friday.